Up we have The Breakfast Club. Keep watching.
Nominees for the award this year are just simply brilliant. I think it's an assembly line of brilliance.
Incredible. I'm in awe, I'm inspired, and I honestly don't know who to choose.
We had a really tough time to decide.
Indians are making it on the global stage, and I believe that whatever happens happens for the best.
We're going to have a really tough time ahead of us to really pick winners.
Hello, you're tuned into The Breakfast Club, and well, you must be wondering that this doesn't look like our regular studio. Well, it's not. This Diwali, we decided to do something different because Diwali is not just about love and light, it's also as much about style. What's trending? What are people opting for? We're at Ogan. This is the hub where colors, culture, style, fashion all falls together. We're going to be decoding the fashion story this Diwali here at Ogan. But first, I need to pick a Diwali outfit for myself. Come. Okay, well, I decided to first go for the most colourful corner here at Ogan, and I'm looking at a lot of lovely colours here, loud, bright colours, a lot of pinks, reds. You also have a little bit of pastel here. I'm not quite sure I'm looking at this kind of work because I'm looking at an outfit for a very at-house scene, a very easy, comfortable vibe. So maybe I'm going to take a look at some other place. This is slightly... I'm going to try these. Okay, well, who would have thought I ran into the brain behind the design I'm wearing, the design I picked for myself. Aseem Kapoor celebrated Indian designers with us here at Ogan. Aseem, lovely that I found you here.
Surprise.
What a great day. Okay, Aseem, first and foremost, I want to begin with what you're playing with this Diwali. So we're talking Diwali. I want to know what you typically go for on festivals.
In terms of the parties or the clothes?
Clothes, colors, design, embroidery. What's the thought that comes to your mind when you're looking at, oh, a festival is approaching, let me think it through?
When we design a collection, to be honest, that obviously all the festivities have become very important in the calendar year for any design in the country right now. This season when we were designing, the whole thing came across that, okay, color is obviously due and we do colors very well. Like, why not give it a twist with a black and white? So why not? Like, a black and white for Diwali is unique, it's fun, works perfectly for the evenings, and that is also a forte. So color is always going to be there, but let's introduce and throw a black and white in the market and see how it works, and it's done brilliantly well for us.
It's working for me because I picked this one up because I wanted something easy, comfy, and yet colorful. So it's doing great for me. Aseem, thank you.
Thank you.
Aseem, the one thing that has stayed with me ever since I read about your label is your tagline. You must come in on that.
So Think Global, Act Tribal has stuck with us when we were even conceptualizing.
Think Global, Act Tribal.
Think Global, Act Tribal kind of stuck with us when me and my wife, we started this brand, and it stayed with us because it's the thought behind the whole concept of Think Global, Act Tribal is we are catering to the world. We are all a global audience, everyone, including in this entire country, the world. It's all become one platform. And thinking global but acting tribal is also important, that we stay true to our roots. Because our crafts come from where we come from. Always touching back on our history, touching back on our culture. This is what kind of makes us who we are, and then we shine in the world. And that was the whole basis of Think Global, Act Tribal.
Do you think, so your label, you came up with this in 2020. Do you think the story pre-2020 was any different? And the last 5-6 years, typically, once again, we're seeing focus of Indian designers move back to our culture, our tradition, our cloth, everything that comes with our history? Do you see a clear shift?
I agree with you over there, because what had happened when the design started in India, this I'm talking back in the 90s or 2000, there was a lot of inspiration from the world, what the world is wearing, what the world is doing, the fabrics they're using, the techniques they're using, the tailoring, which were all very good. We took and we learned a lot from West over there. But I think once the whole learning has kind of in the mid, we have kind of started looking back and kind of appreciate what we already have. And you see the major shift happening just around COVID and all. Like a lot of brands have kind of shifted back and realized what we really had, and which the world does not. And let's touch upon this, learn from us, share ideas. It's happening on all different platforms, not just in design and fashion. It's happening across everything. We are celebrating India right now, and that's what comes through our brand and through most of the people who are successfully going global. It's always like when you touch upon to your own identity, the world wants you.
And I'm seeing that a lot here at Ogan. I see a lot of our culture, our tradition, our roots being embraced the way they are. But what I do want to ask you is also, so typically, you know, our tradition came with what our artists, our artisans had in mind for us. But we're also looking at now designers wanting to go for a fusion. So a blend of our tradition and contemporary ethics, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. See,
why is that? Is that the consumer choice? What is it? What do you make of this blend, which is so in demand?
I'll say the market is always a combination of two things. One is a consumer choice, and one is the craft or where you start from. So consumer has become, look at what we do, how our entertainment is. We watch Netflix, we are exposed to the world, we take flights to New York in a fraction of a second. So with the internet coming in the last 15-20 years, so it is going to happen. We are going to become all global citizens. When you are a global citizen, you need to fit in, and you kind of take pride in fitting in. A person sitting in New Delhi could be at par in fashion or choices what's sitting in New York. So the choices and exposure level is such that we have to celebrate the whole global citizen part of it. And then where we come from, that is equally important. And that's when all the market has kind of been driven by the choices that the customer wants. But the whole combination, what we had was gold. Like taking that, and people do still wear amazing heritage and all. But then I think it's the whole fusion, which is kind of in which our brand has successfully, I would say, that been able to do it. That it is for a woman for right now. It is comfortable. It's like how your jeans and a t-shirt is comfortable. We try and work on clothes which are as comfortable. So the whole focus is on enjoyment and having fun, and not about what is itching, what is heavy, what is light, all those things. The focus should be the person first and having fun, and that's what Western clothes did, and now Indian clothes are doing very successfully.
You see a lot of Aseem Kapoor here, by the way. So yeah, do spot that one out. But Aseem, and this is Aseem Kapoor. So I love the fact that you've come about embroidery and prints the way you have. Is that a consistent pattern in all your designs?
I think it's when we conceptualize design, it's about the overall holistic design. You are at a service of a design. That the design needs embroidery, you put in embroidery. The design needs print, you put in that print. We are slave to that. It's ultimate vision that has to come through, and everything else is techniques and tools that we all have. So I think that is important.
Let's go back all the way, 20 odd years ago when you started. Cut to 2025. How do you think festive wear, festive choices have evolved?
I feel that festive wear used to be very traditional earlier. The heritage part was very strong, and rightfully so. What has also happened, if you see, with India changing and celebrating who we are, we have started celebrating all our festivities very well in detail, be it in India, be it anywhere in the world. So what is happening? There are many more things to do. There are many more parties. Earlier, Diwali used to be a very homely affair that you will have a nice puja at home, will burst little crackers, and it's about only the few families and relatives.
It's become a week-long celebration.
It's
or maybe
post.
10-15 days.
No, it's in Delhi. It's worse. It's like it starts a month before.
Explains why so much traffic on the roads. But
and post Diwali also. Now there are parties post Diwali. So now there are occasions.
leading up to New Year's, maybe.
Yeah, leading up to New Year. So it
And there's
doesn't
weddings
stop.
in between.
It doesn't stop. So I think we all need enough clothes and enough things to do in this whole month of festivities. So yes.
Yeah? I want our viewers to take a look at your other designs as well, and let's try and pick which one is what, speaks for itself, and how. Tell us a little bit of what we're seeing here.
So
Do we have a favorite? Do we have a Aseem Kapoor favorite
see,
here?
they all are designed. So I would say that I'll just pick out what is easier for people. Like we do these jackets. These are dupatta jackets, which are great to even put on something like what you're wearing. Put on a sari, put on a kurta, put on a western, like even a bra top, and it looks amazing. I would urge you.
I'm going to try.
It.
Should
yes,
I?
Of course.
Yeah? Let's do
It's the
this.
same collection. It looks great.
Let's do this now that we're here.
See how it dresses up what you're wearing.
Is it adding to the look?
Yes, it does.
Yeah?
Like you're Diwali ready.
Let's go. Okay, lovely. I'm going to take a look at the mirror in just a few seconds. But
Of course.
Yeah, so great.
So there's something like this. Then we do these very cool kaftan jumpsuits. So it's kind of ease and comfort for every body type. And then it's still got a very cool quotient of a jumpsuit. So every single piece it comes with the thought process. Like we do these draped saris. These are pants, and then on top of there's a blouse and there's a dupatta which you can wrap around you. So it feels like a very beautiful sari.
As a designer, correct me if I'm wrong, and of what I made of the conversation we've had so far, you're not limiting yourself, your thought process, your creative process to one festival alone, one part of the year alone. You're going to come up with something that's going to work for round the clock through the year. Okay, great. Aseem, thank you so much. Lovely having you here, and thank you for this.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I change out, I thought I'll take a quick look at some other sections that come with a little more color, a little more bling, and I did encounter these lovely outfits here. So there's a lot of color here, a lot of embroidery, a lot of mirror work, but in a slightly hatke style. So it's typically different from what we've seen through and through the years, what typically our mothers and the elderly in our family go for when they're going festive shopping. Very interesting collection here, but that's all the time we have. We've unfortunately come to the end of the shopping experience. We thought we'll take you through the bright colors this Diwali, and with that, we hope your Diwali sparkles with a lot of love, a lot of laughter, and timeless style. See you. Okay, on that note, it's time for us to head into a very short break here on The Breakfast Club. But coming up next, we will keep up with festivities and we'll talk about how you need to align your energy this Diwali. We will decode the Festival of Lights with none other than Jai Madan. We'll be back in just a bit.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
John Bolton, who's the former national security advisor of President Donald Trump, who later turned his adversary, has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland. He now faces 18 charges, 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Now we are learning that Donald Trump has responded to his indicted, calling him a bad person.
President John Bolton was just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
We have CNN News 18 Siddharth Mishra joining us live. So, could you please tell us that given Bolton and Trump's well-known falling out, is there any indication this case is politically motivated, or are prosecutors treating this strictly as a national security matter?
Well, John Bolton was President Trump's NSA in his first tenure for a very, very brief time. In fact, at that point in time also, there were reports of both of them not on the same page on many, many issues. Now, in fact, since Trump 2.0, John Bolton has been critical of Trump's functioning, his administration's functioning, its policies towards India, etc., etc. And in fact, he has been writing pieces, appearing on news channels, criticizing President Trump, and being an insider, being once an insider, perhaps he knows how he works. So he has really been speaking from against Trump on TV channels and various other places. Now, there was a raid, firstly, which was conducted by FBI at John Bolton's place. There were some documents seized, if I'm not mistaken. And now we're getting to know that John Bolton, on John Bolton's indictment, President Donald Trump's, he has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland, and he now faces 18 charges, 8 counts of transmission of national defense information, and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Now, prosecutors say in the indictment that during the time he was national security advisor to Trump, Bolton shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities with 2 unauthorized individuals. Both of those people were related to Bolton and didn't have the authority to access classified information. That's what prosecutors said in court. Now, President Trump has to say, when he was asked for a response, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time, but I think he's a bad person. So that's the response coming from President Trump. So as I said that in Trump 1.0 also, there were many reports that both leaders are not on the same page. There were a lot of differences when it comes to the policies of the U.S. administration. And now Trump says that he didn't know that. And you are telling me for the first time, but I think he's a bad person. In fact, Trump in the past also had spoken multiple times on John Bolton. So this all started when Alaska summit happened, and in fact at that point in time, President Trump was wanted his projection as a president pursuing peace, etc., etc. But John Bolton was critical the way America handled it, inviting Putin and no breakthroughs. So in my understanding, that perhaps became the turning point, after which the raids were conducted, and now he has been indicted. Back to you.
So please hold the thoughts that we have another breaking news coming in. John Bolton, who's the former national security advisor of US President Donald Trump during his first term, responded to the indictment by accusing Trump of weaponizing the Justice Department against his political enemies. Bolton defended his record in public service and said he had never compromised US national security. Comparing Trump's actions to Stalinist tactics, Bolton said the new charges reflect an effort to intimidate opponents and promise to fight to defend his conduct and expose Trump's abuse of power. So back to you now, Siddharth. Siddharth, I remember last year when Trump was doing all his campaigns before the elections, during a lot of interviews, John Bolton had said how he did not want Trump to come back, how it could be a disaster. I'd even done an interview with him and he told me that Kamala Harris should definitely win. And now suddenly he has been indicted. Obviously, a lot of analysts have been calling this politically motivated. How do you think this Bolton's case compares legally to Trump's classified document situations?
Look, we don't have any proof to link John Bolton's criticism to his indictment, criticism of President Trump to his indictment. But as I said, that it all started. What was the turning point? The turning point was the Alaska summit, And President Trump wanted the paper headlines and newspaper headlines and TV channel headlines to praise him. And because of John Bolton's opinion, perhaps it somehow impacted President Trump's entire projection of that particular summit, him projecting himself as a peace president, etc., etc. So that, according to me, was the turning point. Now, you're right. There's a response which has come from John Bolton. Now, he says that for 4 decades I have devoted my life to America's foreign policy. I would never compromise those goals. I tried to do what during my tenure in the first Trump administration, but resigned when it became impossible to do so. So, as I said, that there were differences between.
Welcome back. It is Diwali time and the focus isn't just on lights and celebrations but also on the energy we create around us. Astrologer and spiritual mentor Jai Madan joins us to break down how small rituals, planetary alignments and mindful habits can shape the way we invite peace, luck and prosperity into our homes this festive season. Good morning, Jai Madan ji. Thank you for being with us once again. We're speaking in just a few days' time. Hope you're doing well. First up, I want to start with the very first question that comes to all of us. All of us think of how we can follow certain rituals or affirmation for inviting peace and prosperity into our lives this Diwali. So share more on that, please.
Good morning, everyone. So Diwali is about Trinity. All the festivals here, if you see, it's always about Trinity. Like, you know, we have Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati. We talk about the body, the Ida, the Pingla and the Sushmana. Since Diwali is a festival where we talk about peace and prosperity, we forget power is also something that we need to talk about. And it doesn't mean power of aggression. That is why Sri Ram is celebrated, because it's victory of goodness over evil or right over wrong, morality winning over immorality. So in Diwali Puja, just don't have Ganesh ji and Lakshmi ji. Have it up as a complete family. So first, when you have Lakshmi ji, you need to have either Saraswati ji or Vishnu ji to complete the Trinity. Lakshmi is a word in Sanskrit which means Laksh tak le jaane wali urja. I mean, when you're too focused towards your goal, that name means Lakshmi. And Vishnu means Vishwa ke an mein basne wali urja. That means the energy that stays in every atomic of the living being here or every being here. So when you think about welfare of every being there, the combination is called Vishnu Lakshmi. That is why they take avatars again and again, and in different forms of Vishnu, Ma Lakshmi accompanies him to take care of everything here. So the concept is that to remove obstacles from life, you have Ganesh ji. And when you place Ganesh ji in your puja, place 2 solid suparis, just like small forms of coconut suparis, in next to Ganesh ji, one left and one right, which means that you're placing his wives with him, which is Riddhi and Siddhi. The symbolism of that means that Ganesh ji is called Vignaharta, the one who removes obstacles from your life. And what will happen if there are no obstacles in your life? You will have Riddhi and you will have Siddhi. Riddhi means prosperity and Siddhi means perfect skill, where everything happens, you don't have to do. So that makes it like a whole set of it. And the symbolism itself means that you're ready to attract it, but you need to have the intention and you need to place it as well.
Okay. Jayji, is there a specific time that's most auspicious this Diwali for Lakshmi Puja? Since everyone is gearing up.
Every time Diwali Puja, there has to be a specific time. And these systems are made to make us understand that there is good time for everything. You know, if somebody, if I know you very well and I have to wish you on your birthday, but you had a late night party and you're sleeping at 4 a.m. I can't wake you up at 5:30 and say happy birthday, it will get you irritated. There is a right time for me to wait and, you know, get into the process of wishing you. Similarly, in our everyday system, there are 4 timings, 4 durations for 2 hours each, where the time is called everything is fixed. Similarly, there is time for movement. So there are the day is divided into different areas or times, which is called Chaughadiya and Lagna Muhurat also. So on Deepavali, the puja is always done, should be done, which is called fixed Muhurat, yes, Sthir Lagan. That means the nature of Lakshmi is Chanchala. You know, we say na paisa tikta nahi hai, money doesn't stay with me, money goes away, money comes and goes. To make your money, because this is one day in the year where we actually worship Lakshmi. She says that, may I always stay fixed with you. She gives you stability. So you have to do puja in a certain time which is stable. So the time for that is on 20th between 7:30 to 9. That is the time when you should do. On Dhanteras also, the time is between, which is 18th, 7 to 8 p.m. and the afternoon also you can do that, which is between 2 to 3 p.m. So these are the timings when you can actually do puja and create stability in your life.
Okay. Jayji, now tell us a little bit about energies and vibrations. We see everyone is in deep cleaning mode every Diwali. What are some of the ways to cleanse our home and aura during Diwali? And is that related to why we look at the kind of decluttering, deep cleaning that we see every year?
See, this is the rituals are based on the primal occupation, you know, of humankind, which was agriculture. So this is the time when you actually, you know, harvest things, but you also prepare for next time. This is what the year also changes, our samvat also changes. So what we do is, when we actually taking care or creating something, manifest something in the form of crops, you first eliminate, you remove stones, you remove unwanted plants, you clear up the place. That is why Ganeshji is called, who's called Vignaharta, to remove all the problems. When the cleaning is done, what do? You actually uproot everything and start sowing seeds. That is why Lakshmi Pujan is done, so that for next year you're prepared to get the best yield out of it. And then it's not the process which ends here, it's the process which starts here. Now every day you give water to the field and you make sure that it is taken care by pest and everything. That means each day after Diwali Pujan, you have to take care of your mind. There should be no negativity, and you should enhance your positivity by watering it every day. So this is the beginning. This is not the process where it ends. It starts and then you continue till next year, and you start again and you start again. So cleaning is so important, because whatever is unwanted, you give that, so that your trash becomes somebody's treasure. You know how to give. And then you create space for something new in your life. That is why cleaning is important. But it's not just outside cleaning, it's inside cleaning also. People that you had grudges with, you go and visit their homes, you give them gifts, you wish them Diwali, you send a message to everybody in your phone, so that the internal cleaning also happens. So it has to be a two-way process for you to manifest health, wealth, prosperity and power in your life.
It's also an energetic reset or a spiritual new beginning. Lovely. On that note, Jayji, everyone who's prepping for Diwali in their homes would want to ask you, what about placements of rangoli, other traditional decor, diyas? How does that impact the energy of the space as per Vastu?
So the mythology says that this is the day when Ma Lakshmi walks around. Now suppose if Prime Minister is walking around in your area, there's a tour arranged, you know, by the government, or there's a tour in your colony, in your area, he's walking around. Now for him to have attraction towards your home, what all will you do? You're going to put his posters, you're going to put lights, you're going to do something so that your house stands out. And if he has to visit, say, 3 homes into that area, that's part of his process, or that's part of his tour, you will do something so that he says, oh, that's a nice house, oh, that's a nice house. Similarly, when we decorate our home with this intention that Mahalakshmi, look how much I'm respecting you, look how much I'm waiting for you, I have done this for you, won't you come and have a look? So with that innocence and with that love, we decorate our home with rangoli, so that she sees and she says, I want to see that, that looks nice. And then you have lights, and then you have diyas, and then you clean up your home, you put everything ready, you put fruits in one corner, sweets in one corner, and she feels, wow, this house is so nice, it welcomes me. This is what we want to do, and change everything with that energy, with that thought, with that vibration.
Okay, speaking of Dhanteras, you've already told us, Jayji, what the auspicious time for the puja is. But what about the most auspicious place in your house to keep all your newly purchased items?
So it is always, the disha is, you have to consider it in very strength by the ear also. So this year, placing it in north or in southeast will be very, very favorable for you. Also, I will suggest that in the north direction of the home, place a small kalash, like, that water pot, the vessel. On the top of the kalash, put a small, katori and light a ghee ka diya. In the southeast direction, place few metal items, whatever you buy. You buy in steel, you buy in copper, you buy in brass, you buy in silver, you take a small gold coin, whatever you want to take, And then in that direction, light a diya with sesame, white sesame seed oil. And you also place a small matki filled with coriander seeds, a earthen kalash filled with coriander seeds in the southeast, and then you light diya on it. Now, post Diwali, when you do your puja, and when I say place them on 18th, which is Dhanteras. And after the puja, if you continue your puja till 22nd, great. Otherwise, after Diwali puja, which is 21st of late evening, consume that water, everybody, and just sprinkle it in the complete house. Secondly, the coriander seeds that you've put in southeast direction, place it in all the plants of your home and little bit in your locker, so that that's the fastest growing vegetable or grain that we can say. Hence, you tell Ma Lakshmi that I want your growth in my life this quickly. So put it in the plants all over, little bit in your locker. You can chew a bit to bring more prosperity within as well.
Okay, so those are the remedies that those who feel financially stuck or blocked should also follow this Dhanteras, correct?
No, everybody feels more the merrier.
Okay. Lovely, Jai Madaji. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us in Diwali festivities. A very happy
My
Diwali
pleasure.
to you and your family.
Happy Diwali to all of us.
I'm not sure about Rashmika. Maybe.
No, it is.
Rashmika is VFX in herself.
Why
She doesn't need VFX.
She
doesn't need VFX.
I'm not going to let go of that. Why would you say that?
Visual wonder.
Every time he has one, we've collaborated on Bala in the past.
Yeah.
He's collaborated with Nawaz.
This is so different from Bala.
In Badlapur. It is.
Yeah,
of
he's
course.
got hair. He's got hair.
Let's begin there. I've got 2 hairstyles in the film, pre and post.
So you've experimented it all with him.
I feel that Irfan Khan, who I've had a very emotional journey with, is the gold standard. Okay? Nawaz bhai sometimes makes us miss him less. Terrific producer who gives them a lot of time off.
Excuse me. I see 3 people disagreeing. Two very clearly disagreeing. I don't know about Nawaz.
Friendly actors.
जितनी फिल्म की डिमांड है बनता
अगर कोई
है.
किसी को पूछे 8 घंटा काम करना है 12 घंटा तो आदमी 8 घंटा ही बोलेगा.
Of course, हाँ.
And also some days you're working 8 hours. Some
But
days
how
you're
much are you
working
willing to fight for?
13-14 hours also. Yeah.
तो 8 घंटे से तो बेटा 4 घंटे है.
I'll sing 2 lines. Help me with the lyrics. और क्या चाहिए ये जिंदगी से मुझ भरोसे.
Let him do it properly.
Let me do it properly.
Yeah. Well, there's something very interesting coming up this Diwali. Hitting the theatres is Thamma. It comes with a lot of spiritual intrigue, supernatural intrigue. There's horror, comedy, all packed in one. And Dinesh Vijan, one of the producers of the film, will be decoding that story broadly for us. And we have amongst us 3 powerhouse performers, need no introduction, Ayushmann Khurrana, Rashmika Mandanna and Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We'll talk about Thamma. Let's begin with the broader theme. Dinesh, you have focused through the universe you've created broadly on folklore, Indian traditions, roots, our culture. What's the thought process there and why did you think this should be the 5th installation?
I think this one, so first of all, the universe belongs to all of Maddock. It belongs to Amar Kaushik, it belongs to Niren Bhatt, who's a very, very qualified Mukhya writer of the universe, and Aditya, who's directed this film. this idea Amar came up with. He had come across some initial writing on it, and I said, but initially I thought, why do we want to do it? It's been done before. So I like trying to do things which have no reference point. And he said, no, but it's in our culture, and that got. And then he went into the entire philosophy of Betals, and we've had Vikram Betal way before most things, and then he explained what our legend would be. And I think the next morning I got up thinking of that. And that's, like I was just telling someone, that the way we decide to make a film is the next morning, you cannot not make it. And that was Thamma. The universe is a longer conversation, but I think it's important to have loyalty today in anything that you do. And I think a universe helps you build loyalty with the audience as long as you don't take them for granted and just force fit it. So I think every installment that we are planning and going ahead with somehow is like you're setting your 11 players to play a nice little cricket match. So we're almost there. We have 2 new entrants in Shakti Shalini and Chamunda that will come in the next 18 months. And then we go into the sequels. There'll be Thamma, there'll be Bhediya, there'll be Muncha. And then we try and do like a big war of sorts. And it's been very exciting, because, we started where we made the first film for 15 crores. And we didn't have all the tools and all the toys. With Thammas, we've got a lot of toys.
This one's the biggest as yet.
What's interesting is it's also big in thought. Like we've actually gone into a world, right? We've created a world, so there's word building in it. Like I was just telling Nawaz Bhai that his character has, like they say an angel has a halo. He's got like a little, the exact opposite of a halo. He's got this amazing little thing happening behind him, which yesterday when I saw, and it freaked me. And Nawaz actually is, he's played characters, but he's actually such a genuinely warm person that you sometimes wonder how he does what he does. And he'll blow your mind. He's the surprise package of Thamma.
He always does.
He doesn't have a halo, he has a payload.
So actually that's a better, I'll take that answer. So he, like everyone has a halo, he's got a payload. Payload and go. Sir, this I'm going to coin.
And who was at the receiving end of this?
Everybody.
Haloing.
Everybody.
Okay. Okay, so we'll start with Nawaz.
Yeah.
You've already teased the wonderful work he's done in the film, Nawaz. A new genre for you as well, to an extent, would that be correct?
Of course, मेरे लिए तो बिल्कुल ही हाँ मैंने खुद नहीं सोचा था इस तरह का पड़ेगा मेरे को।
स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ी तो क्या आया ज़हन?
मुझे सिर्फ आइडिया बताया था कि इनकी बड़ी मेरी तो ख्वाहिश पहले से थी, हम लोग मिलते थे बीच में, बस ये बोल के चले जाते करेंगे साथ में काम करना। मैंने कब करेंगे, इतने महीने हो गए, बदलापुर एक लास्ट किया था,
साल हो गए,
साल हो गए। तो ऐसे इसीलिए मेरी एज भी दिखाई उन्होंने, 75 साल और 100 साल का हूँ 175 तब से वेट ही कर रहा था। बट मुझे ये आइडिया नहीं था कि इस तरह का कैरेक्टर आएगा मुझे। तो ये एक दिन बुला के ऑफिस में बोले कि इस तरह का है कुछ, मैं ठीक है देखते हैं, क्या करना तो था ही मुझे, बट इस तरह का मैंने सोचा नहीं था। मैंने हॉरर फिल्म की है, लेकिन हॉरर कॉमेडी जॉनर ये मेरा पहला अटेम्प्ट है, मतलब। तो मैंने अभी कुछ देखा नहीं, तो मैं भी एक्साइटेड हूँ कि कैसा निकल के आया होगा। तो लेट्स सी।
अभी कुछ देखा नहीं है, that's kind of hard to digest. I mean, I'm sure you all get little glimpses of the hard work you've put in.
Only while we dubbed, we saw the glimpses. That was like 50, 60, 70% of the film. But apart from that, we have no idea, because this is heavy on VFX and the post is very heavy. So we'll eventually see it like day after, maybe 18th.
Yeah.
So it's also the first VFX you all have experienced, 3 of you as actors.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Rashmika. Maybe.
No, it is.
Rashmika is VFX in herself.
Why
She doesn't need VFX.
She
doesn't need VFX.
I'm not going to let go of that. Why would you say that?
Visual wonder.
Oh my God, how you've just
flipped it. I flipped it.
Crazy.
Okay. Ayushmann, I'll go to Rashmika in just a bit. I'll save the best for the lady in the last. But I also want to ask you about experimenting. So you've typically gone for very unconventional roles, right from the beginning, Vicky Donor to Thamma. And it's been quite a journey. How do you typically decide what role you're going to play? Do you sign up for it in advance, thinking of a certain role you'll be playing, or this is what I want to pull off? or does these kind of roles end up coming to you? Does that happen
I always keep the
automatically,
film
organically?
first. I always keep the film first, the story first, and the uniqueness of the content.
How is it always so
unique
and so unique?
I think I'm full of gratitude that universe has conspired in that case, that I get to collaborate with great minds, and all my films have been disruptive in a way, and Maddock has the same think tank, and Dinu believes in that, and whenever he has something disruptive or unique, every time he has one, we've collaborated on Bala in the past.
Yeah.
He's collaborated with Nawaz.
This is so different from Bala.
In Badlapur. It is,
Yeah,
of
he's
course.
got hair. He's got hair.
Let's begin there.
I've got 2 hairstyles in the film, pre and post.
So you've experimented it all with him.
Absolutely.
What's the difference between Bala and Thamma? He's got hair this time.
Yes. But luckily, I think this Thamma is a Genesis film. It's an origin film, and again, it's a new chapter in Maddock horror comedy universe. Again, disruptive of sorts, I think.
In a very different way.
In a different way, yeah.
Mega disruption is happening. Okay, Rashmika, now I want to ask you about this blend that you're almost feeling when you take up these movies. So you're doing Telugu, you're doing Tamil, you're doing Kannada, and then you're doing Hindi. And we've seen quite a few successes there. Culturally, how different are they from one another when you switch from one to the next? What are the challenges there that you encounter? What are the challenges you encountered here, for instance?
Challenges, I wouldn't say. It is always very interesting when you get to work with people with different mindsets, and also when it comes, when you're working in different industries, we've all had different roots while growing up. So it's very interesting to understand why they say what they say. I'm always very interested in human psychology as well. So for me, it's fascinating, and my work keeps me very, very, like, everything is so exciting. Like, why would you want to do the same thing you do for years and years? Like, I'm able to, I'm grateful that I've been able to work in 4 different industries with some of the greatest storytellers or filmmakers and producers and co-actors. I'm just like fully grateful, and today being a part of Maddock horror comedy universe, it's a whole different spectrum altogether, and it's very new for me as an actor. It is very exciting for me as an actor, and of course we're going to see in 2 days what the film is actually, what gift wrapping the film has done on a totality. But I think on a personal level, it's a very exciting phase.
You make the hopping sound so easy. I don't think it's that easy, but okay, I'll accept that.
No,
I'm
honestly,
sure
it's
that's
honestly,
why I began by saying powerhouse performers. So.
it's honestly the people who you work with who make it worth, you know, all the little bit of struggles that you have to.
So you have your 2 co-actors sitting next to you. Who made the journey, Thamma journey, easier for you? I'm going to put
As
you in a little
both,
bit of a.
because when you have to share the screen with someone, it is their energy.
That's my job. I'm going to keep at it.
No,
It's so difficult to work with this person, but
No, but in all honesty, it's when you are performing with an actor, when you're sharing the screen with an actor, it is their energy that rubs off on you, and you're like, your performance got to get better. Like example, when I was shooting with Ayush, his comedy timing is so, like, it's so fantastic that you need to be on your toes while performing with him. And Nawaz sir, like, his character is very, like, can I say gruesome? Gruesome. Okay, so like that's the side of Nawaz sir that I got, and he actually played it like, and that's why you've gotten the reaction that you've gotten out of me. So it's always that playing with energies that we're doing.
Dinesh, how is it for you and everyone behind the scenes really putting together these powerful faces together, because there are too many in this movie? It always comes with its own set of, not challenges, I'm not going to use that word, but
there was 0 challenge.
How do you optimize on such powerful faces all under one umbrella?
They are 3 very, very...
They're all like...
I would say they're not challenging at all because they're thorough professionals,
Yeah.
and sometimes we take that lightly, but they know what they're doing. You know, while you were talking, I was just going through it, and I realized I was going through the characters. So Rashmika's played a Maharani, now she's playing Tarka, and then she's doing something contemporary with us. And I was like, there are three such diverse roles. Ayushmann's, we didn't give him hair, we've given him hair. That itself is apparently doesn't happen once you lose it, you know. And Nawaz Bhai is coming
That's a promotion.
from Badlapur, which according to me, though it's our film, it's one of my favorite performances of his because he kind of humanized the bad guy. And, you know, he brought humor to him in real life, you know, just the way he is. So you kind of, what he did was so horrible, but you still liked him somewhere because he was just a bit like nice, you know, surviving life. And I feel when we had to cast this character, I needed exactly that, but in a way more theatrical way.
Running out of time, we're going to have to wrap up the conversation, but I have a quick rapid fire because our audience loves a rapid fire. And can I ask the three performers here if you
please
permit?
go for it.
Can I grill them a little?
Go for it.
With your permission.
Go for it.
Okay.
No.
In my place, please.
No, you go for it. I'm going to come on this side.
No,
and
you're
ask
not.
you the question.
Why?
I'm going to answer the question. बताओ क्या था?
गलत जवाब मत देना.
अगर गलत जवाब दिया तो ये सही जवाब देंगे.
Yeah. No, I've been noticing that, by the way. Really beautifully covering up for everyone.
Left brain, right brain works in tandem with Mr. D.
Okay. So this question applies to all. तीनों को इसका जवाब देना है. One co-star. We begin with you. Also because you sing. So one co-star, one song you've sung, one film script, your survival
So many
kit.
questions.
No,
Yeah,
it's just
what is-
three. One song, one co-star, one film script, your survival kit.
My survival kit.
Survival kit.
As in this stays with you.
ये तो problem हो गई.
The two of you all have time to think. Huh?
Oh, it's the same question for both of us.
Minus
also?
the song.
Okay,
maybe.
one song
Yeah.
is Rahe Na Rahe Hum, which I'm going to sing a version of, like tomorrow.
Which you can sing right now as well. A line maybe.
I'll sing two lines. Help me with the lyrics. और क्या चाहिए ये जिंदगी से मुझ.
Let him do it properly.
Let me do it properly.
Yeah.
बहुत बढ़िया गाना.
कल ही मैंने लाइव गाया है और आज भूल गया.
Everybody's suddenly feeling the urge to sing.
Huh?
Everyone's feeling the urge to sing suddenly.
You know, I feel so envious of people who can sing. He knows it. I've been telling this to him.
मेरा गला बैठा हुआ है.
Very, very vocal about the fact that singing is such a cool talent to have. It's okay, sing more.
I was well rested.
You should keep singing.
Sounding better yesterday. Every day is not the same.
You should
Okay,
keep
I'll
singing.
try. और क्या चाहिए कि जिंदगी भर तुझे रह सके याद हम रहे ना रहे हम रहे ना रहे हम.
Talia. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short. Rashmika, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada or Hindi in cinema?
Can't
It's a
pick,
difficult
ma'am.
one.
Sorry. This is all bread and butter, and I respect all of them completely, fully, and all of them are very important. So I'm sorry, I can't pick.
Don't hold this against me.
Oh, no,
Nothing
of course,
personal.
I
Thank
get,
you.
but-
Thank you for the honesty. Nawaz, movies or OTT? Again, a difficult one, but
मूवी OTT of course दोनों मैं तो कुछ जो भी अच्छा होगा.
okay, I want to very quickly ask you all, a director you'll say yes to even without reading the script.
Nobody, yaar. I can say yes to Dino without reading a script.
You'll have to say
Yeah. He can make any director work. His vision is crazy.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
only believe in him.
Okay, Rashmika.
Yeah.
Ma'am, most times we don't have script. We
yeah.
trust our directors, we trust our producers, we just jump right in.
Lovely. Nawaz,
क्या?
which director would you say yes to? आप हाँ भर देंगे बिना स्क्रिप्ट पढ़े.
कुछ डायरेक्टर्स.
कोई ऐसा डायरेक्टर, कोई नाम आपके जहन में आए?
अभी तो ऐसा दिमाग हाँ प्रोड्यूसर तो बहुत सारे हैं ऐसे.
Everyone's playing safe.
बहुत सारे
And then everyone's turning to him.
Christopher Nolan.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much for all the honesty and for the lovely conversation. All the very best for Thamma. Thank you
So much.
nominees for the award this year are just simply brilliant. I think it's an assembly line of brilliance.
Incredible. I'm in awe, I'm inspired, and I honestly don't know who to choose.
We had a really tough time to decide.
Indians are making it on the global stage, and I believe that whatever happens happens for the best.
We're going to have a really tough time ahead of us to really pick winners.
Hello.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
John Bolton, who is the former national security advisor of President Donald Trump, who later turned his adversary, has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland. He now faces 18 charges, 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Now we are learning that Donald Trump has responded to his indicted, calling him a bad person.
President John Bolton was just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
We have CNN News 18 Siddharth Mishra joining us live. So, could you please tell us that given Bolton and Trump's well-known falling out, is there any indication this case is politically motivated, or are prosecutors treating this strictly as a national security matter?
Well, John Bolton was President Trump's NSA in his first tenure for a very brief time. In fact, at that point in time also, there were reports of both of them not on the same page on many issues. Now, in fact, since Trump 2.0, John Bolton has been critical of Trump's functioning, his administration's functioning, its policies towards India, etc., etc. And in fact, he has been writing pieces, appearing on news channels, criticizing President Trump. And being an insider, being once an insider, perhaps he knows how he works. So he has really been speaking from against Trump on TV channels and various other places. Now, there was a raid, firstly, which was conducted by FBI at John Bolton's place. There were some documents seized, if I'm not mistaken. And now we're getting to know that John Bolton, on John Bolton's indictment, President Donald Trump, he has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland, and he now faces 18 charges, 8 counts of transmission of national defense information, and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Now, prosecutors say in the indictment that during the time he was national security advisor to Trump, Bolton shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities with 2 unauthorized individuals. Both of those people were related to Bolton and didn't have the authority to access classified information. That's what prosecutors said in court. Now, President Trump has to say, when he was asked for a response, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time, but I think he's a bad person. So that's the response coming from President Trump. So as I said that in Trump 1.0 also, there were many reports that both leaders are not on the same page. There were a lot of differences when it comes to the policies of the U.S. administration.
Welcome back. We now return with a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. First up, in markets, GIFT Nifty indicates a weak opening for Indian equities. Asian equity markets were dull as news of 2 banks having bad loans weighed on investor sentiment, and crude oil prices softened on trade tensions and uncertainty spooking commodity markets. Gold prices soared to record highs ahead of Diwali in the country. Speaking of a sector in particular, the jewellery industry continues to witness shift from unorganised to organised players. A steep reduction in customs duty on gold has reduced the pricing differential between organised and unorganised markers, and with mandatory hallmarking requiring purity certification, organised players are gaining the upper hand. We're aggressively expanding reach and focusing on enhanced consumer experience and satisfaction. So don't forget to log into Money Control Pro to find out more about the jewellery sector and other actionable insights on financial markets. Okay, we're heading straight into the weekend, so we'll see you next on Monday, which is also Diwali. So don't forget to start your celebrations with us on The Breakfast Club. See you at 8 a.m. Monday. Bye-bye.
Icons inspire, but the invincible define an era. Witness the unveiling of India's invincible icons on a stage that crowns greatness. CNN News 18 India of the Year 2025 coming soon. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
John Bolton, who is the former National Security Advisor of President Donald Trump, who later turned his adversary, has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland. He now faces 18 charges, 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Now we are learning that Donald Trump has responded to his indicted, calling him a bad person.
President John Bolton was just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
We have CNN News 18 Siddharth Mishra joining us live. So, could you please tell us that given Bolton and Trump's well-known falling out, is there any indication this case is politically motivated, or are prosecutors treating this strictly as a national security matter?
Well, John Bolton was President Trump's NSA in his first tenure for a very, very brief time. In fact, at that point in time also, there were reports of both of them not on the same page on many, many issues. Now, in fact, since Trump 2.0, John Bolton has been critical of Trump's functioning, his administration's functioning, its policies towards India, etc., etc. And in fact, he has been writing pieces, appearing on news channels, criticizing President Trump, and being an insider, being once an insider, perhaps he knows how he works. So he has really been speaking from against Trump on TV channels and various other places. Now, there was a raid, firstly, which was conducted by FBI at John Bolton's place. There were some documents seized, if I'm not mistaken. And now we're getting to know that John Bolton, on John Bolton's indictment, President Donald Trump, he has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland, and he now faces 18 charges, 8 counts of transmission of national defense information and 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Now, prosecutors say in the indictment that during the time he was National Security Advisor to Trump, Bolton shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities with 2 unauthorized individuals. Both of those people were related to Bolton and didn't have the authority to access classified information. That's what prosecutors said in court. Now, President Trump has to say, when he was asked for a response, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time, but I think he's a bad person. So that's the response coming from President Trump. So as I said that in Trump 1.0 also, there were many reports that both leaders are not on the same page. There were a lot of differences when it comes to the policies of the U.S. administration. And now Trump says that he didn't know that. And you are telling me for the first time, but I think he's a bad person. In fact, Trump in the past also had spoken multiple times on John Bolton. So this all started when Alaska summit happened, and in fact at that point in time, President Trump was wanted his projection as a president pursuing peace, etc., etc. But John Bolton was critical the way America handled it, inviting Putin and no breakthroughs. So in my understanding, that perhaps became the turning point. After which the raids were conducted, and now he has been indicted. Back to you.
So please hold the thoughts that we have another breaking news coming in. John Bolton, who's the former national security advisor of US President Donald Trump during his first term, responded to the indictment by accusing Trump of weaponizing the Justice Department against his political enemies. Bolton defended